Hi and welcome to this brief video looking at trading the GBP USD to the downside using the 30-minute time frame, as you can see here in the top left. The chart already shows two other successful PTPs, and what I mean by successful is that they are dark red. To set up the PTP settings, what you will need to do is to go to the TUFXP indicators and then left click on PTP settings. We want to show the PTPs. I prefer it to show just the unsuccessful and successful PTPs. The strength is 8. I apply the low filter and hide the PTPs outside of the primary trade times. Here you can see that when we get a potential PTP, whether it's to the upside or downside, it shows first of all as a clear circle. When the order is filled or the market trades through the area, the markup area, then you will see this become a solid colour, in this case a bright red and bright green for the buy, bright red for the downside. And when the market hits the scalp target, we can see that the PTP then turns to a dark colour. In the case of a buy, a dark green, and the red, a darker red. What changes these colours is what we have set up in the trade markup. I'll just move this down, and also in the trade calculation. This software allows us to actually have the trade set up automatically, so instead of having to draw on the entry point, the stop loss and the scalp target, this can be taken care of automatically with the software. Again, you can see more of this in the quick startup guide. So what I generally have here is the only marked trades with bars with a range of at least 8 points, and only markup trades on bars with a range of no more than 40 points as well. So I have these two actually marked up, and make sure that the check mark is there as well. So the setup for the trade calculation is the entry point is 50% above the buy PTP and below the sell PTP. I have an initial stop of 10%, and the scalp shows 20 points there. And that's the basic setup that I use. I try and keep it as simple as possible. So let's go to this trading example. Just bring this up now. What I've done is recorded this earlier on the 27th of June, and this allows me then to actually slow and pause the video so that we can condense what was probably several hours down into a matter of a few minutes. So on the price chart, we can see that we have a potential sell here. We've got the clear red, we've got a trade marked up automatically. We've got the stop loss, the entry point, and the scalp. And of course, to the downside, we need the market to trade through the entry point in order to qualify this trade. A couple of other things to notice as well. You will see a dark black line and a red line there. That just shows the bid and ask of the British pound that comes from the MetaTrader 4 as well. So I can see that in order for me to start making any profits, the black line has got to be below, and this is another thing that we've added in here as well, this solid, or well, I wouldn't say solid, but there's sort of a grey shaded line here below the entry price, and that represents where the bid and ask is. So this black line needs to be below the shaded area in order to show that the market is actually, or the trade is making profits there. So let's get started and hit the play button and see what actually happens here. So we've got, I'll just pause this for a second, the market moves lower, we're notified that the trade is qualified, and the PTP now has turned to a solid red there. So let's start again. So what I'm doing now is coming over to the MetaTrader 4 platform. I've right clicked on a blank space within the GBP USD, gone up to trading in the menu here, the right click and textual menu, and come down to new order. Left click on this, and this brings up the order form. One thing you want to do, something that I have noticed with MetaTrader 4, is that if you actually open this beforehand, which is something that I generally do if I get a signal that comes up, is I will open this beforehand, and what you've got to be careful of, you'll notice at the top here it says GBP, Great Britain, pound versus US dollar, value 1, we've got the stop loss and profit target here. Just as an experiment, do this. If you use the scroll button on the mouse, you will see that the GBP USD will actually switch to a different currency, and this has caught me out several times in getting used to the software. So if you do open a order ticket beforehand when you get a potential signal, if you click in the comment section, it will stop the, so if you happen to inadvertently click on the or move the scroll button, it will stop it from actually changing the currency. So what I do now is open an order ticket when I get a signal, clicking comments. This then stops this inadvertent changing of the currency, which I had happen to me on several occasions, because the last thing you do when you come back to do the trade when it's filled is check which currency it is, because you already assume that it is what it is because that's what you asked it to do. So one way to get around this is just to left click it in the comments area, and that will stop that from happening. However, if you do this once the trade's filled, of course, you can then just come in and hit the sell, but then again be very careful. Make sure that you check that the GBP is still showing, or any other currency that you're actually trading. So let's move on, and you'll see me hit the sell button. The order is filled, and now we are in the trade. And it's a case now really of sitting back and letting the market do what it needs to do as far as either moving lower or moving higher. As I look at this trade, there's a couple of tips for you as well. The market's moved through. We're moving to the downside. You will notice these grey shaded areas here, equidistant on the chart, and what these show are the psychological support and resistance levels for the currency. In this particular case, we have $1.53 here, $1.5350, $1.54. So I can see just by looking at the chart, the market came back up towards the $1.5350 and has now moved lower. But in order to move lower, it's got to take out the recent low over here. And we can see what happened when we traded through the 153 area here, that the market came back and prices moved back up to the upside there. I'll just move this down a bit so you can see we've got the volume on the price chart as well there. Slightly restricted on the recording space for this particular example. But the most important area is the trading area here. So let's continue on and see what actually happens. So the market's continuing just to move lower there. In fact, what I will do is just pause this one and just drag the slider along on the top here in the Camtasia software so we can speed it up a bit, because it did take a bit of time for the trade to actually unfold there. You can see for the next 30 minutes price is just traded sideways. And this is the thing with 30-minute price bars, of course, you do have to wait that length of time before you get the next price bar on the chart. It is a time frame that I actually do like, because it saves me having to sit in front of the screen all of the time, watching tick by tick over each 30-minute price bar. So we're just dragging the slider along here, and we can see the market finding some buying coming back into the market. Coming off the lows there. You can see how long we actually had to wait in this trade before we got some further activity. So we're starting the second bar now. So we've just completed the first 30-minute bar. Not a lot happened apart from the order being filled and prices coming back off the lows. which is no surprise really, because on the left hand side here we can also see the market coming back off the 153 area there. So the market's starting to move lower once again, and what I've done here is advanced quite a lot, because this is the bar that we were filled on. The next bar came back. We then had another 30-minute where the market traded sideways. We're back above the entry price here at the moment, and then we see prices starting to move lower once again. And this is not unusual for a market to trade sideways once we're in a trade, and then it takes a moment or two for the market to actually move in the direction that we would want it to. So now we see after an hour and a half the market has moved to the downside. We're heading towards that psychological 153, and here we see that the software has alerted us to the scalp being hit. I didn't take the profits at the scalp as the market was moving fast, and you can see here the market driving down. We're now at 47.5 points profit, and I'm just going to move this along, and now you can see me actually opening up the Alpari software here, or the MT4 software. You can see there we've got 45 point profit. So I'll just move this along just a bit more. And what I've done here, as we're close to 50 points worth of profit, it's enough on this particular trade. So what I've done is right click on the order. Let me just move this over for you. See if I can show you. There we go. In the MT4 software, on the tab, the trade tab at the bottom there, you can see the trade that's currently in progress. In order to close the trade, we can simply just right click on it and then come up to, I'll just let this run in, the close order, left click on the close order, and you will see the trade there just closed out. And there's the account history, and you can see the profit there of 44.50, which is the points that were generated on this particular trade. And then the video's just gone back to the beginning there. So the briefest of summaries, we have the software set up with the settings that I showed you for the PTPs and the trade calculation, and also the automatic trade entry that we also saw there as well. The trade will mark up automatically if it meets the criterion that we saw in the trade calculation. I have a stop loss of 10%, entry of 50%, and the scalp of 20%. And once the trade is filled, you will be alerted by the software. Go into the MT4 software, right click and bring up the order ticket. If you're going to do this beforehand, as I said earlier, make sure that you left click in the comment section just to deactivate the scroll from changing the currency, just as a tip there, and then wait for the trade to be filled. Once it's filled, go into the market, and then it's a case of just monitoring what happens. It's either going to be a winning trade or a losing trade, and then you would act accordingly. When the trade has reached the profit target, if you're happy with the scalp, or if it's fast moving as in this example, then you can actually go back into MT4, right click on the trade, and then close the trade out. If you have any other questions regarding this, take a look at the quick start trading account that shows many trading examples in narrative form, and also the quick start trading guide. If you can't find the answer to the question you have using either of these online facilities, then please do contact a member of the support team. We'll be too pleased to assist where necessary. Until the next time, thanks for watching and see you soon.